Oh, hi all, welcome to the home studio. Bit of a different video today than the last few. I've just come back from shooting a few videos, pictures, all that jazz up in the Highlands for the past week, and it's going to take a little while to sort through the footage and get some content out. So in the meanwhile, I just thought instead I'd just talk a little bit about my approach to this YouTube channel, and also, I doubt I'm going to get any comments. Just in case anyone out there is watching this who's got some thoughts about it, I'd like appreciate your thoughts on a matter as well. So first, let's just talk about how am I approaching this channel. Well, to start with, I didn't really want to go in financially massively into something like this when there's a good chance that it might go nowhere. For example, I wanted to use technology I already had for the most part. For example, I did have this Rode, I think it's VideoMic. Yeah, it's just a Rode VideoMic. I've used this before to record footage at my partner. She's an opera singer at her events. So I thought I'd pair this with, I've got a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. I'd pair these two together and do some stuff. And unfortunately that didn't work. So the only thing really monetarily that I'm in so far is I bought a newer CM28 mic system just to get some better quality audio. Now, this is where the potential advice section comes in. Up in Scotland, on one of the videos of CM, there was a bit of a mishap with the wind, and you might be able to tell there's been some slight damage to the S23 Ultra. You could say just slight. The fingerprint sensor doesn't work. I can use the camera to unlock that way, but I can't interact with the touchscreen at all. So what I'm thinking is, it is possible for me to utilize this as is using the included S Pen to interact with the screen. I can't see whether or not it's using USB audio, and there's a few sections here you can see it's just blacked out. Just in case, I'll put it with it. It might be quite hard to see, but there's a few black ink splodges on there where it's impossible to see what it is. So my question to anyone watching is, do you think it would be worth trading this in for 200 quid to some mobile phone reseller and then buying a Nikon Z30 and using that for the video capture? Now, I've heard it's an extremely good video device, and I am in the Nikon Z system as is. We'll go into this gear in a minute. So if you've got any thoughts or experiences, if you've used the Z30 and you think it's worthwhile as something to buy, let me know. I'll probably have maybe already bought it because I'm quite impulsive. Now, just in general, so that's my theory with the channel is I don't want to spend money where I don't have to, and going in on a £600 to £800 camera system is definitely spending money when I already have a camera already. What I can't do with the camera though is take pictures out in the field and also use it to record video. So that's what I'm thinking. Now, just in general about the rest of the gear that I'm using. So I've bought myself a slightly better tripod than I had, which is it's a newer. I seem to be buying a lot of newer and K&F stuff recently. It's a newer tripod. It is extremely sharp. The piece of metal that keep the legs in place, I've cut myself multiple times with it, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Aside from that, the only other things I've bought is a K&F filter set, which has I think it's got a 3-stop, 6-stop, and it has a circular polarizer in it as well. I'm thinking of buying an additional set with 10-stop and also a UV filter, which I'll use when it's rainy conditions and stuff. Now, what I don't particularly want to be doing is exposing the front glass of these lenses to the harsh elements when I'm relatively clumsy, and I definitely do not want to be damaging them. I have to say though, I'm a fan of the magnetic filter set by K&F so far. So let's talk lenses. So the primary lens that I'm using at the moment is the 24 to 70 2.8 S lens Z mount. I have only had this since the winter sale this year, and so I'm only just about going out getting pictures with it since the weather's been getting slightly better. so far it's a phenomenal lens. When I was and ahhing about whether to get the 24 to 120, and sometimes it would be nice to get a little bit of extra reach, but I have to say this lens is phenomenal. So that's my primary lens. What I also have is I've got a 70 to 200 2.8. It's the VR-ED2. It's an very old lens. I've got it on the original F2C adapter, which is kind of annoying. Actually, we'll get into this in a second. So it was kind of annoying when you had my old tripod and I didn't have a proper bracket, a smaller bracket. But it's less annoying now. When I bought this lens, I got it secondhand, and it didn't come with a tripod foot on the lens. So what I've done is I've bought this off Amazon. So it was like 30 quid, worth every penny. Worth every penny. I've taken a few pictures using this while I was up in the Highlands in the last week, and it was just brilliant. So I don't use it as often. It's very heavy. I don't always have it in the bag, but I'll usually have it in the car at best. So at worst, sorry. But yeah, actually, I was pretty impressed. But the picture behind me on the monitor here was taken using this, and yeah, brilliant. The one downside is I don't have a magnetic filter set or any kind of polarizers for this lens, so I've had to. You'll have to wait and see in an upcoming video. But using the lens hood, I engaged in some unadvisable activities. We'll get to that in a video probably coming up in a few weeks when I can sort through all the footage. So that's the second lens. I also have a 50-1.8. This is the lens I got with the camera originally. Massive fan of this lens. I'm not sure how much I'm probably going to use it realistically in some of these videos. If I'm walking around with the camera out and about, I've probably got the 24-70 on. Let's be honest. I do love this lens. I've got thousands of pictures out of it, but I'll probably not really be using it much on here. If I buy the Z30, then I might try and set it up in here a little bit further back, get a bit more cinematic depth of field. I'm currently recording this on a Galaxy Z Fold 6. I almost said 7, that's not out yet. Which is handy because it does have the preview screen and I can see what's going on. And I can see how janky this setup looks. So anyway, that's the 50. I'm probably not going to use that much in this. You probably won't see that much. Finally, the other lens I have it's a Rokinon 14mm, and I've had a lot of fun with this, taking astro shots when I go away to the Highlands. Every other time I've taken a picture with this, I've been unimpressed. I think the camera, we'll get onto the camera in a second, but I think the camera has, the focus peaking never seems to work very well with this. No matter what I do, the images come out of focus. The camera thinks huge sections of the image are in focus. They absolutely are not. So I'll probably not use this a huge amount. Probably astro, wide landscape, night shots, things like that. In terms of the camera I'm using the original Nikon Z6. And on it I have a small rig bracket, which for me, in the past, I've tried a few different types of brackets and things for mounting straps or other stuff, but just getting an L bracket, other than the inconvenience of trying to get to the USB slot, having to open this occasionally, I mean, just change the screw in there. This is great. But as for the camera, you'll have heard lots from multiple reviewers about how bad the autofocus system is. When it comes to taking pictures of moving dogs and children, yeah, it's not great. There's definitely better cameras out there, but this, it's got a few years on it now, this camera. But as far as autofocus or the focus system goes for landscape or other non-moving things, which is what I tend to photograph more, it's fine. It'll do the job for sure. Do I want to buy a Z8? Of course I do. Should I buy a Z8? Probably not. Probably not. Or even a Z6 III. You know, I'd love a new camera. Of course, I'm addicted to buying technology, as a lot of us probably are. I was having a chat with a guy when I was on one of the cruises up in on Loch Linney near Fort William, and we were talking about kit and how it, you know, it's very easy to go around buying all sorts of different things. But you know, for the moment, for the time being, this does fine. I do love the Nikon colors. I'm colorblind, by the way, so you might see some very heavily contrasted images coming at me. I do like that. I think probably something to do with the fact that the colors I see in life are relatively muted, that I bump them up in post-processing, which might be to your liking, it might not be. But I do love the colors that come out of the Nikon cameras. I've just generally been a big fan. I've had, I think it was a Nikon D90, then I had a D5600, then a D70, 750, and then I went to the Z6. And I would very much like to get a Z8 or a Z6 III, but I think most people probably want the new kit as well. So, you know, this is just, again, apologies, this has been a random waffly video. I just thought I'd go over my thoughts on my approach to this. And if anyone is out there and you've got some opinions on whether or not it's worth stumping for a Z30, or whether I should just, you know, mumble through with this for the time being, I can manage with this. I think it's going to be extremely inconvenient, and there is quite literally a hole in the glass on the front of the screen now, which might mean if I'm out in the rain, that's not going to work very well. But if you've got any thoughts on whether it's worth ditching this for a Z30, let me know. Well, thanks for watching. There's some videos that'll be released in the next few weeks of me going around the West Highland Peninsulas, taking pictures like Santa Beach, the castle out there that I can't pronounce the name of. There's a few other different bits and pieces. Got to see some deer. So I'll be splitting those up into different categories and releasing them here and there. But in the meanwhile, feel free to subscribe if that's the sort of content that you would be interested in seeing. But thank you very much for watching, and take care.